In 2022, the world stopped not for a movie premiere, not for a red carpet moment, but for a courtroom drama that felt more intense than any Hollywood script. Two global stars, one marriage, accusations of abuse, leaked audio, text messages. Millions watching live, choosing sides, arguing online, and dissecting every word, every facial expression, every tear. Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard became more than a legal battle. It became a cultural war. But how did a private relationship turn into the most watched trial in modern history? And behind the memes, the hashtags, and the viral clips, what is the full story that most people never heard? Johnny Depp, once known as Hollywood's eccentric genius, and Amber Heard, a rising actress with a striking presence, first crossed paths in 2009 on the set of The Rum Diary. At the time, Depp was one of the most powerful actors in the world, while Heard was still climbing the industry ladder. Their on-screen chemistry soon turned into a real-life romance, and by 2015, they were married. To the public, they appeared glamorous, passionate, and deeply in love. But behind closed doors, their relationship was reportedly turbulent, intense, and volatile, marked by jealousy, substance abuse struggles, and constant arguments. According to court testimony, the marriage began to unravel almost immediately. Amber Heard later alleged that Depp was emotionally and physically abusive during their relationship, especially when under the influence of alcohol or drugs. Johnny Depp, on the other hand, claimed that he was the real victim, accusing Heard of manipulation, violence, and fabrication. What made this case different from other celebrity breakups was not just the seriousness of the allegations, but the sheer volume of evidence that would later surface. Text messages, photos, audio recordings, medical notes, and witness testimonies that painted two very different versions of the same marriage. In May 2016, Amber Heard filed for divorce and requested a temporary restraining order against Johnny Depp, alleging domestic abuse. Photos of Heard with a bruised face quickly spread across the media, igniting global outrage. Depp denied the accusations, calling them a hoax, and claimed the photos were staged. The divorce was finalized later that year with a $7 million settlement, which Heard publicly pledged to donate to charity, a promise that would later become a major point of controversy. In 2018, Amber Heard wrote an op-ed describing herself as a public figure representing domestic abuse. Although Johnny Depp was not named, he claimed the article clearly implied he was an abuser. Depp argued that this piece destroyed his career, leading to lost film roles, including his removal from major franchises. This op-ed became the legal foundation for Depp's defamation lawsuits, first in the UK and later in the United States. Johnny Depp sued a British newspaper for calling him a wife-beater. In 2020, the UK court ruled against Depp, stating that the newspaper's claims were substantially true. This verdict was devastating for Depp's reputation. Many believed his career was over. But Depp refused to accept defeat, insisting that the truth had not fully come out. What followed would change everything. In 2022, Johnny Depp sued Amber Heard for defamation in Virginia. This time, the trial was televised and the internet exploded. Millions watched live as both sides presented their cases. Depp testified about emotional pain, career destruction, and alleged physical attacks. Heard testified about fear, abuse, and survival. Audio recordings revealed toxic arguments. Witnesses from doctors to security guards added layers of complexity. Social media turned the courtroom into a global stadium, with public opinion shifting day by day. One of the most controversial aspects of the trial was the leaked audio recordings. In them, both parties could be heard arguing, admitting to hitting each other, and mocking the idea of being believed. These recordings shattered the traditional victim versus abuser narrative for many viewers, replacing it with a disturbing image of a mutually toxic relationship. The case became less about heroes and villains, and more about chaos, damage, and accountability. Psychologists testified about trauma, personality disorders, and relationship dynamics. Media experts analyzed how public narratives are formed and weaponized. The trial exposed how fame amplifies conflict and how public opinion can influence justice. It also raised uncomfortable questions. Can truth survive in a viral world? And what happens when personal trauma becomes global entertainment? The jury ruled largely in favor of Johnny Depp, awarding him significant damages, while also awarding Heard a smaller sum on one counterclaim. For Depp supporters, it was vindication. For Heard supporters, it was a failure of the system. Careers were reshaped, reputations permanently altered, and the debate continues to this day. This was not just a celebrity scandal. It was a mirror reflecting society's struggles with belief, gender, power, and truth. The Johnny Depp versus Amber Heard trial forced the world to confront uncomfortable realities about relationships, abuse, and the role of media in shaping justice. In the end, there were no real winners-only lessons about love gone wrong, about fame magnifying pain, and about how the court of public opinion can be louder than any judge's gavel. The story of Johnny Depp and Amber Heard will be studied, debated, and remembered, not as a fairy tale, but as a warning.